Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam Show. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam Show. Turn it up.
What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? Yep. So, not feeling well today, unfortunately, but you know what we do on PMP, man. You know, I do it for you. So, we gonna do it. All right. We're gonna have a good time just like we do every single week. Come on in. Come on in. You know what time it is. It is share time. Caught a little bug a couple of days ago, and haven't been sick all year, and it's September, and then it happens, but it's okay. It's okay. Yo, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, yeah, because we gonna go anyway, yeah, we gonna go anyway. We gonna have some fun. We gonna vibe out. We gonna have some fun. We gonna ride out. Yeah. May not feel the best. But it's okay. Cause it's P and P. P and P, babe. It's share time, y'all. Share time. Share time, y'all. Share time. Yeah. Whoa. Share time, y'all. Go ahead and get that link and share, baby. Go ahead and share. That's what I'm doing right now. That's what I'm doing right now, baby. That's what I'm doing right now. Time to share. Time to share. It's time to share, y'all. Time to share, y'all. Come on. Time to share. Go. Yeah. Know what time it is. It's time to share. You know what time it is. It's time to share. Time to share. It's time to share. Time to share. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. 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 Share time, y'all. Share time. Come on. Share time. Share time. Come on. Share time, y'all. Share time. Come on. Share time, y'all. Share time. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. What's up, PNP fam? Where we at? 649 episodes. 649 episodes of the Pancakes and Powerslams Show. Constant. Thank you. Constant. Greatly appreciate everybody continuing to be a part of the show. Not feeling well today, but it's okay because I'm with you, PNP, with the PNP family. Hey, that's what we do. Bye. Hey, hope everybody's having a blessed day. Had a blessed day today. The day's almost over. It's 7 minutes before the day is over. I hope everybody had a blessed day today. I hope everybody was very purpose-driven today. I pray that people were very purpose-driven in their day today. I think that would bless me to know that you were purpose driven in your day to day. All right. So I believe that we are going to be a little abbreviated today because yeah. Boom. Boom. Yeah. Let me see. Let me go ahead and light this up. Boom. Let's play it again. Let me see. Let's do it again. Yeah. Yeah, let's bring that up a little bit more. I want to hear that bass drop hard, man. Let's see. Yeah. Let's go. I want to hear it. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I like that. That's great. One more time. Yeah, I like that. All right. So yeah, so I can get some rest, y'all. But I do it for you, and I'm here, and we're going to talk about the topic tonight. Of course, go ahead and like, share, subscribe on that fun jazz. And we're going to have some fun like we do every single week, y'all. So the topic for today is we're going to talk about AEW, AEW. And we're going to talk about the really weird type of odd decision for AEW to do a very indie style showcase on their kind of 1B biggest event of the year. So before the whole Wembley thing, it was all in the Chicago version, the 10,000 seat. Can we do it? We did it. Let's make this a thing. So that was like their biggest show of the year. Now it's kind of like the stepchild pay-per-view of all in. Now it's become All Out. It's just an arena show, and I think they only was able to get like. And that, by the way, let's think about that for a second. So, if I'm not mistaken, All Out was able to get like 6,500 tickets. Like they were able to sell 6,500 tickets. Think about that for a second. 5 years later, the bet of selling 10,000 seats wouldn't have been successful. And that's something. Like it's like 4,000 seats less than they did, like over 4,000 seats less than what they did 5 years ago. So if they did the bet now that they did 5 years ago, they would have lost the bet, the gentleman's bet type of deal. So they wasn't able to get 10,000 seats in 2024. They were able to get 10,000 seats in what was that? 2018 was there, or is it 19? 19? That was Labor Day weekend of 19, and then like a month later they started. No. 2018, I believe, was the first All Out, because then they did the New Year's thing when they were all walking together, and then I think they like the Elite was walking together, and then they announced like AEW as a brand, as a promotion, and then October of 19, I believe, is when the first Dynamite was on. So they were still doing pay-per-views before the weekly show. So if I'm not mistaken, the first All In was Labor Day weekend of 18, PMP Nation, is that true? The first All In, was it Labor Day weekend of 2018? Yep. September 1st, 2018 at the Now Arena. Yep. So 11,263 people came to the first All Out. So they were able to, or All In, they were able to beat the bet, so to speak, by a little over 1,200 seats. 6 years later, the attendance at All Out was the arena show. They did. Oh, that's weird. They didn't do the ticket sales. Wikipedia. What? Let's find the attendance. I can find the attendance for All Out. I think they sold like 6,500 tickets, if I'm not mistaken. 6513. So yeah. So they had a little less than 5,000 less. A little less than 5,000 less. Yeah, they were able to get a little. Well, there's a different. There was a different. There was a different number. I don't want to. I want to give them as much as they possibly can, because the last time I checked, it was like 6,500, and I just verified that too. So let me make sure, just to be fair, as far as how many tickets AEW was able to get. So AEW got let me be fair. September 7th, All Out. Okay, so they were able to get a little bit of an influx. So they end up getting 8,513 tickets sold. So 8,500, which is still a little less than 3,000 less than the original, and then about 1,300 tickets less than last year's. So it went down from last year's. Ticket sales went down from last year, and they got 8,513 tickets distributed, at least. That's it wasn't a sellout, and they were able to get 80, a little over 8,500. So that's a little bit less than 3,000 people less than the original 6 years ago. So with the 8,500 mark, 8,513, AEW was unable 6 years later, and yes, last year too, they weren't able to make 10,000. And this year, the past 2 years, they would have lost the bet of getting 10,000 seats for people to watch it. And that's something. Like, you're getting worse than like you were able to make the bet with no weekly product. Just a bet of someone coming to basically a televised, glorified, one-off, show, and it worked. It was cool. And then 6 years later, you've lost about 3,000 attendees, and you weren't able to make the 10,000 bet. I mean, here's my thing. For AEW, at least every year, try to get past the 10,000 seats. Because if the agreement was, if the bet was 10,000 seats, like, so you can't even, it wouldn't be able to, seat 10,000 people. They won't be able to pull in 10,000 people was like the initial thing that kind of revved them up and drove them to have that show. Okay, cool. Well, this year, that critique would have been correct. And last year, that critique would have been correct because they weren't able to make 10,000 people this year or last year. So that's a interesting sidebar there. But when it comes to the product as a whole, and you're wondering why, it's a good tie-in too, because you're wondering why a lot of these numbers are dwindling when it comes to AEW as a product as a whole. Now, there's no way you could tell Tony Khan this. There's no way you can tell people who are making a butt ton of money, like a Mercedes Moné or Swerve Strickland based on rumors, or Kazuchika Okada or Jon Moxley. You won't be able to tell them this because they're swimming in money. So it don't matter to them. However, from the overall quality from a product, from a standpoint of presenting this product to Warner Brothers, which we still haven't got any news as far as a deal is concerned, those things matter because without television or without a big television deal, I mean, as we saw with WCW, when Eric Bischoff had an investment partner to take over WCW, he had a game plan. He had a map that was going to get him an opportunity to really nail it, to really have a great opportunity to revive WCW as a product. He was ready for it. However, they pulled the television deal at the 11th hour. And if you don't have any TV, you're not going to have investors teaming up with you or partnering with you to buy the product or buy a stake of the product. So, that goes to show, even with this digital stuff coming, even with streaming and stuff like that, you got to get those television deals, man. Because, here's the deal. Raw is on Netflix. Is SmackDown on Netflix? No. Because at the end of the day, television still matters. And, is AEW, we haven't seen any type of headway of AEW trying to make strides to get into the streaming market, although, like ROH is behind a paywall as far as streaming, but you haven't seen that with AEW. And having a very indie style show that we saw with one of the biggest events of the year, which is All Out, that's not going to help the presentation of your product. And so what we saw with AEW at All Out was an obsession to elicit the bloodthirsty reaction of the live fans. And when did a business model ever become successful if the only people you target are the people who are already bought in? Name me a business model that's successful. Once again, let me reiterate. Name me a business in 2024 that only focuses on the ability to focus only focuses on wanting the current people who are already bought into the product to be better appeased. So, yeah, you're working on retention. You're working on consumer retention. You're not even really doing a good job with that, honestly, because as I showed with the numbers, you're losing audience by the thousands of one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. One of your biggest events of the year, you've lost 3,000 more. You've lost 3,000 attendees than you did 6 years ago when you started this franchise of All In / All Out. And yeah, we can go with the Wembley shows. Cool. I mean, although they lost like 30,000, 20 to 25,000 people from last year to this year. So, I mean, that alone shows that there's some issues as well. But if you think about it just from just overall, how is it helping your product? How is it helping your product overall? If as a business, your presentation to the current to the possible consumers and the network or networks that you're trying to get television deals, how is injecting a needle in someone's mouth on a live pay-per-view and putting a plastic bag over someone to the point of they're motionless, how is that going to help the product from a standpoint of wanting to get more consumers? Again, let me say this. Let's say this one. Again, let me map this out from a business standpoint. So say, for instance, Good Vibes. Okay, you see that Good Vibes. Say if I had Good Vibes clothing store. Good Vibes, if I had a clothing line that was Good Vibes. All right, Good Vibes clothing. And so Good Vibes clothing became very successful, extremely successful. And I had a really, really good consumer retention because of this logo. Everybody loves this type of logo. And I had this logo on t-shirts. All right. I had this logo on hoodies. I had this logo on ball caps. I had this logo on skull caps, on toboggans, scullies, whatever you want to call it, whatever district of the States or another country you're at, scullies, skull toboggans, whatever you want to call it. And I had it on all my merch. All right. If I had it, this is a zip hoodie. If I had Good Vibes right here. And so everybody loved that logo. People were really just invested in the logo. All right. And so 6 years later, I've created this enormous, this absolutely enormous wave of consumer retention by Good Vibes logo. People love it. People love the movement. People love all the endorsements of, people just very honorable, just morally upstanding people that endorse the Good Vibes clothing line. And then I was like, you know what? I got something for you. Let's do a campaign. Let's go. We've got a new initiative. So I'm going to do a campaign in order to appease the current consumers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a campaign where I'm going to use this logo and I'm just going to shatter it. I'm going to shatter it in broken pieces. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have those broken pieces and I'm going to create a completely different type of thing that's just really edgy. And I'm going to really take a stab at this thing. and really change the game and make it very extreme and edgy. Why are you doing that if you already have a consumer base that are willing to continue to support what you have? And how in the world is the Good Vibes logo, if I'm trying to pitch it to other people and bring them in with campaign, why is it destroying what I already have to present something already to someone that's a new consumer base that's working? Because guess what? You're going to have the consumer base from Good Vibes tell other people about it because they really like the logo. They really like the campaign. They really like the morally upstanding vibe and energy and just motive and mission and all that. And so if you just go way out the way and use some type of campaign slogan that's just totally immoral because for the sake of being edgy and trying to really cause some people to really dig into this Good Vibes, I'm going to do something that's edgy, and I'm going to do something that's immoral, and I'm going to do something that's going to destroy the Good Vibes logo and mission. How is that not only helping, how is that helping the current consumer base, and how is that trying to bring in successfully other consumers? It makes absolutely no sense to me why you would do something so indie, just muddy, murky, Bush League, just very just CD, local, Armory, Bingo Hall, VFW, warehousey indie show that's in every Boduk town of people trying to, for some odd reason, jump off the Empire State Building in order to make something viral enough to get about 5 minutes of fame, and we never even know who your name was before or after. But I want this big moment. But how people think is, especially with the pro wrestling community, we're looking for the next big moment. Because guess what? You had a moment where Darby Allin did a senton just a few months ago. Was that March? That was 6 months ago. 6 months ago, Darby Allin did a senton into a sheet of glass. Nothing to break his fall. Absolutely covered in blood and shards of glass to the point where he had to take some time off. 6 months later, by no stretch of the pro wrestling imagination is that even considered being a topic in anybody's thorough conversations right now. And it's just 6 months ago. Why? Because now we want to one up someone going through a sheet of glass and having a bloodied back. Now we want to inject people with a syringe. Now we want to attempt to murder somebody. What are we doing here? What's the motive? Because a bloodthirsty, I've explained the concept of Schadenfreude, which means harm, joy. People take pleasure in the harm of others, or people take joy in the pain or harm of others. That's what Schadenfreude is called. That's the reason why the pro wrestling community is ripe for the picking to see that gory, bloodthirsty, just Machiavellian Roman Colosseum, just gore. Like that, they enjoy that. And they're not going to hinge off of last week's bloodthirsty moment. They want more. They want more. It's insatiable. The desire for this goriness it's insatiable. So you're going to have someone get syringed in attempted murder, and you think that that's going to positively influence or affect the company? What are we doing here? And guess what? We have stupid stuff like this happen all the time. People jumping off of stupid ladders, people jumping into glass, people jumping to exploding, floors. Like, it just feels so CZW, GCW. Okay, so cool. So if you want to go the CZW, GCW route, okay. But that's a niche, hardcore, 300 person, 400 person audience. Look, if they want that gory, hardcore style, bet. Keep it there. Leave it there. And don't try to manipulate the audience of an AEW crowd by bringing your desire of, let's make it more edgy. How edgier can you get by attempting to murder someone? What's next? What I mean, literally, what's next? You attempted to put a plastic bag on someone's head and suffocate them to the point that he's motionless. No one helped him, by the way. You put a plastic bag over someone's face to the point that with the intent for him to die. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, that's essentially what you put a plastic bag over someone's head until they're motionless. That's called suffocation, ladies and gentlemen. That's how people kill people, because they want them to be motionless. They don't. When you put a bag over someone's head until they're motionless, you're trying to murder them. And somehow that was a good idea to try to murder someone on live television. Again, it just really goes to show the level of the lack of forethought, the level of business intellect that AEW has as a whole. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to murder someone on live television, and you're trying to present this as real. Okay. So, and you wonder why your numbers continue to dwindle. You wonder why your numbers continue to dwindle. Because who in the world, outside of a bunch of what Tony Khan called sickos, came straight from his Twitter account, who else other than a bunch of sickos would want to see someone get murdered on live television? Like, who wants to see that? Oh man, I'm gonna rewind that a bunch of times because, man, that was an amazing spot. Man, Moxley, man, that was my favorite part of the pay-per-view when Moxley tried to murder Bryan Danielson. And guess what? It was just to get a rise. And that's what AEW does, man. try to get a rise. I'm going to put a syringe in someone's mouth to all of a sudden make this like, ooh, I'm really going to put some spice on this feud. I think this is perfect for someone getting a syringe in their mouth, as if that's going to help any type of storyline whatsoever. Newsflash, it's not going to help any storyline whatsoever. It's not going to bring any type of amazing element to the storyline of this cage match because someone got a syringe in their mouth and got a big plank of wood just mangled and stabbed in their face. And you wonder why people are starting to dwindle. Because guess what, man? At this point, AEW, even the sickos don't want to be sickos anymore. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the question game. All right, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, we are going to do our best here today. I'm pushing through, man. Like I said, don't feel good today, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. I was glad that I was able to do that monologue successfully. Thank you very much, guys. Your support is continued amazement. Again, ask Doc, and we'll address as many questions as I can, and then head over to the after party where you could just be on the screen and just ask me live. There we go. We have a great time at the after party, so come join us. All right, the People's Wrestling Channel, AEW most definitely went too far. It was wrestling. Who's the audience for all the complete trash they did in that match? If they are drugging people, where's the limit? I mean, similar to what I said. I mean, I agree with you. It's like, who's the audience here? Like, other than Tony Khan's quote sickos, who's the audience? Who's the audience who gets excited about people getting murdered? I mean, who's the audience here? Makes no sense at all. You have asked me in the past why I hate AEW. This match is just one of many reasons. Also, they ruined their own momentum. They built a lot of momentum at All In, but was all got. I think you meant to say gone it all out. Clown Shoes Khan doesn't want AEW to grow. He wants to keep it at the very all level it's at. I'm not their audience. I will probably see out the year with pay-per-views, and then that's it. I'm going to stick with something I know is very good weekly, and not so far right now. That's WWE. I don't think WWE's on fire, but glad you're sticking with them. Hammerstone was on NXT. Yeah, I saw that on my socials, man. Yeah, I'm gonna get me I got backup. I came prepared. I've got a cough drop, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a cough drop. Yeah, baby. All right. Yeah, I like Hammerstone, man. He looks legit. I mean, I saw, I was years ago, I was following MLW a little bit more when Brian Pillman Jr. was there, and he had Heart, whatever his faction was called, Heart Foundation 2.0, Heart Dynasty 2.0, something like that. So it was Pillman and Harry Smith and Teddy Hart. For some reason, I thought that there was somebody else in there. So it was like Hearts, basically. So it was cool. And then Low Key was there, and MJF was there. La Parka was there. Jacob Fatu was there. So yeah, this was a while ago. It was probably 6 or so years ago, somewhere around there. Yeah, and Hammerstone was started to come around that time. I didn't follow as much as when Hammerstone was there, Alex Hammerstone. But I was like, yeah, man, this guy's got a look. He looks legit, man. So good for him. Your thoughts on Raw? I think he came from TNA, though. I think he went to TNA, and then because of their initiative, he was shown on NXT. I don't think he's signed with NXT as far as I know. People's Wrestling here. Your thoughts on Raw going back 2 hours for the rest of the year? I think it's a very bad idea. It means less people are getting pushed, and why would the fans want less wrestling? I disagree with that, man. I think it's a great idea. It's a great idea for me in many ways. 1, 3 hours was an absolute stretch. Why would fans want less wrestling? Because oftentimes excessive quantity diminishes quality, and we've seen that with 3-hour Raws for several years, that the quantity has diminished the quality. Things are stretched. There's 83 backstage segments that are just totally irrelevant. There's 89 in-ring segments that are irrelevant and feels weird. It feels contrived. It's the same thing over and over again every week. I mean, I think 2 hours is fantastic. Also, I think 2 hours is fantastic because I get to be off on Mondays an hour earlier. I mean, come on now. This is work to me, all right? So Mondays I work. I have to watch Raw, and then for an hour I review Raw. So if I only have to watch Raw for 2 hours instead of 3, do the math. That means that I get off an hour earlier. That's fantastic news to me. Fantastic. I certainly don't want less wrestling. I want more and more. If I was 10 hours, I would still watch. That's something a Mark would say. I've come up with a new catchphrase on my podcast. If wrestling was the same, if wrestling is the game, excellence is the name. And I am Ricky Goldman. A little cheesy, but I mean, hey, man, make it a thing. Do it. Own it. Own it, man. If wrestling is the game, excellence is the name. And I am Ricky Goldman. The last part is a weird transition. Like if wrestling is the game, excellence is the name. And excellence is Ricky Goldman. There you go. I think because I am Ricky Goldman is a weird transition to the first two. So if wrestling is the game, excellence is the name. And excellence is Ricky Goldman. That's my suggestion. We all need the CEO dance. NSC is stacked. Good for them, man. Am I enjoying? See, so here's the thing, man. When y'all ask me these questions, or if I'm enjoying something of professional wrestling right now, the answer is probably going to be no. I can't think of anything right now about pro wrestling that I'm actually enjoying. I really can't think of anything. If you would have asked me earlier in the year, I would have absolutely said, yes, I'm enjoying all things Rock. I think Rock was absolutely cooking earlier this year. I thought it was absolutely amazing. If you also asked me something that I was enjoying before, it would be several parts of the Bloodline storyline. Yes, it started to drag. I would say post WrestleMania last year, it started to drag for me. Like that was it for me. Because then you start doing like Jay leaving was cool. Money in the Bank, I think he pinned Roman. That was his first pin in a few years. That was cool. That was just going to lead to a Jay versus Roman match that that Jay wasn't going to win. And so that's when it's like, this is starting to drag. The payoff was Roman beating Jay, and then just to set up Cody winning. The payoff was this year with Cody winning. Now, that's cool, but they definitely didn't do very well with that so far over the past 5 months that Cody Rhodes has been champion. Definitely feels whack. So, as of now, like there was a couple of examples that I enjoyed. I enjoyed parts of Sami Zayn and the Bloodline being the very comical, just kind of the comical lackey. That's not very oozy, the Jimmy J. They're starting to feel like they aren't being respected as much as they should be. Like there was some Bloodline things that I enjoyed, but the Rock's work, money, absolute money this year, absolute money. Currently enjoy nothing. I enjoy storyline wise. I like characters. I think Jey Uso's money. I like Jey Uso a lot. I think Gunther's been cooled down, but I think Gunther's an amazing heel. I think he's great. I think the Goldberg line to Bret Hart was great. I like that. I pop for that. I think Drew is, this weird bracelet line, but I think Drew's doing some of his best work character-wise, although I think this storyline is whack. I like Trick Williams, NXT. I think that I like his charisma because I think the fans help him and Booker T help him. That's really it. NXT is stacked. October 1st, CM Punk possibly wrestling, Miz TV, Trick versus Ethan, Roxanne versus Galea, Jay Cargill, Bianca Belair, NXT be cooking. There you go. Someone who loves him some NXT. With AEW All Out most definitely was what AEW All Out most definitely wasn't indie. I disagree. I got to many indie shows and have never seen someone get drugged or suffocated. What they did was something I've never seen before. That's not true. You can easily go to any type of, wrestling, indie wrestling Facebook group that's got like 28 people, and you'll see someone on outside at a very rusty ring that's probably going to fall to pieces, and they climb up the ladders and they set up like 3 or 4 non-rigged tables, and they climb up 20 feet ladders, and they try to do a backdrop throughout through all the tables and they have like 18 people saying holy S. I mean, that happens all the time. It's like, it's weird. It's odd. It's not surprising though. And it's desperate, man. It's desperate to get attention. Like, you got the pro wrestling community, wrestlers and fans alike has like, even commenters too. People who just make just stupid comments on like shows, like my shows and stuff. Every now and then I'll check in the comments just to see, like, because I'll check my comments a lot on PNP, because I'm literally interested in what y'all think, you know what I mean, on y'all's views and stuff like that. So I love that interaction. That's the reason why my show is one of the most heavily influenced chat rooms, like the heavily showcased chat rooms in all of, you know, professional wrestling podcasting, because I'm legit interested in. I'm a therapist, man. So like, I like interacting. I get it. I enjoy people's thoughts on things, even if we disagree. I couldn't care less about disagreeing with someone. Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, neither of our opinions really matter. I mean, it's pro wrestling. Like, it's just, so what? It's just, I'm not going to spend so much energy like, oh, I think that, there's no way, because I thought it was awesome, because I think the syringe really added a different element in the thing. And how dare you say that you didn't like it, because I think that it's something that'll be memorable. Like, but here's the crazy thing. The culture of pro wrestling, there's so much insecurity and attention seeking in this community, that disagreeing, like, ad hominems are like the go-to when it comes to disagreeing. And that's such a very, very insecure and immature way for an adult to communicate. But it happens all the time in the pro wrestling field. And so that's the type of culture we're looking at, man. That's the type of culture we're paying attention to. That's the type of culture we're presented in pro wrestling. And so I literally see that with people seeking attention. They seek attention with weird indie moments. They seek attention with what we saw this past weekend. They seek attention with ad hominem, very emotionally and mentally and neurologically immature comments, like they're children. We see it all the time, man. We see big little kids in the pro wrestling community, and we also see that inside the pro wrestling community. Oh, look at me! Look at me! I can jump off a cliff. Look at me! Look at me! Look at me! Look, Dad! I'm about to jump off. I'm Superman. Look, Dad! Look at me! Look at me! I mean, that's essentially what we see in pro wrestling. We see kids, we see promoters saying, "Look at me! Look at me! I can cause these puppets to jump off, ladders into a sheet of glass unprotected. Look at me! Look at me! Look at that reaction! Look at me, Dad! Look at me! Look at me! Look at the fans saying, "Holy bleep!" That's what we get, man. Back in the Attitude Era, the Undertaker hung the Big Boss Man from Hell in a Cell, but the difference there was that 20-something years ago, now you can't get away with it. And that was a part of a storyline too. I mean, that was his gimmick. He was the Ministry of Darkness. So that's what, and even in that Hell in a Cell, that was still a moment that was still a black eye in the Attitude Era. Like that was still, even now. I mean, you could check out interviews and stuff. That was still a black eye to that era. That was a black eye. Stephanie McMahon getting crucified was a black eye. Raven getting crucified in ECW was a black eye. Like there was a lot of black eyes. Like, I'm not going to sit here and romanticize, the 30 years ago. There's a lot of black eyes. I'm not going to have, recency bias or primacy bias, back from 30 years ago. I'm not going to have primacy bias and romanticize all things 30 years ago, because there was a lot of black eyes in the industry as well. It's gotten to a point now where that's the norm. Like doing like those moments that were black eyes, stuff like that has become the norm because the crowd is so insatiable, because the promoters and the bookers and the writers have written based on the reactions of a crowd who's flaky and fickle and unstable and insecure and attention seeking. So why in the world would you, and that's been one of the worst things that's happened in pro wrestling. You've had a movement of writing becoming like nearly completely programmed and completely booked for this very bloodthirsty crowd. And you can never appease a crowd who takes pleasure in someone's pain. You can never appease them. It's a very unhealthy dopamine kick that you can't appease. All right, let's see here. We're about to head on out. I want to address again. Head on to the after party if you want to ask these questions. If you want to make sure that your questions are addressed, we can talk about it. Otherwise, ask Doc, Josh, what's up? Villain, what's up? Shamika, what's up? Jay, man, y'all, once again, amazing chat. Amazing chat. Boom. There you go. Very, very nice. DJ Villain agrees. All right, y'all. Av is in the building. What's up? Jonathan Coachman said exactly what you're saying. He said at Tweet AW, like, please watch us. We do crazy stuff. He absolutely hated the unprotected chair shot. There you go. I mean, he definitely has more of a wrestling say. Of course, I have I have a more academic say when it comes to psychology, but he has a stronger say when it comes to experience in the business and understanding what the crowd wants from an actual, from an inside perspective. And it's good to have that endorsement of what I'm saying, indirectly by Jonathan Coachman, because that's essentially what we're seeing. We're seeing a bunch of big little kids saying, "Look at me." I mean, that's wrestling. Look at me. Look at me. Look what I'm about to do. Look, Dad, I'm about to, and I have 3 kids. All right. And I get a lot of look at me. Look, Dad. Look, Dad. Look, Dad. Look, Dad. And I'm like, oh, hold on. Be careful, son. Be careful, daughter. And like, be careful. Be careful. Hold on a second. Nah, I think you need to come down. I think you need to come down from now. That's not very safe. And that's essentially what pro wrestlers, the community is doing. I'm not thinking about how safe it's not. I'm just more excited about you looking at me. And I'm about to do this. And it's going to be fun. And it's going to be adventurous. And I want you to see it. And I want you to look at me. Woo! So there you go. Young Bucks, I'm feeling better. Am I feeling better? I appreciate that question very, very much so. Again, ask Doc. I'm feeling a little better, Young Bucks. Why is AEW doing chair shots? We saw the damage that stuff does. Mick Foley, and after what happens with Benoit, why take that risk? Again, man, that is another thing that just falls in line with what I'm saying, man. It's interesting, man, because when you think about addiction, you get to the point where you start to, when someone gets addicted to something like an opioid or a drug, alcohol, logic starts to continue to like rational thinking, like prefrontal cortex type stuff, when you're dealing with those types of rational judgments and decision-making behavior, like rational decision-making behavior, the more the dopamine addiction starts to increase, the more it diminishes the functionality of the prefrontal cortex. So you're not making rational decisions. You're diminishing the ability, or your ability, your choice. You have the ability to do it. You're just choosing not to. You're diminishing your choice or your functionality of making rational decisions. That's the reason why when you think about your prefrontal cortex, your brain, especially from a prefrontal cortex perspective, doesn't develop, until around 25 to 27. And so a lot of the reasons why children, they do the look at me and they don't think about the fact that I'm about to jump off the arm of a chair into the ground. I'm not thinking about the ramifications that this is going to bring. I just want to really be a part of the attention-seeking, exhilarating moment. That's what I want you to see. And so the ability to, what I call wisdom, I tell this to my clients all the time, wisdom is beginning with the end in mind and working your way, that way. And that's how you move, by beginning with the end in mind. The ability to ration like that from a wise perspective is not a thing when it comes to kids, in many ways. And so what we see with people who have higher levels, unhealthy levels of dopamine, you start to see that type of behavior. I'm willing to do anything for my next fix. I'm trying to do anything for my next fix. I'm going to diminish the point of rationality because I'm so fixated with my next thing, with my next hit. And so that's what happens. Pro wrestling is no different, man. That addictive, unhealthy dopamine behavior, that's no different than someone wanting to hit, a line, someone wanting to go to a bottle, someone wanting to go to a pill, someone wanting to go to pornography, stuff like that, man. Those are unhealthy dopamine fixes, unhealthy dopamine activities. And so when you're thinking about that, it's insatiable. It cannot be, it can't be quenched. The desire can't be quenched. The way that you condition and lower your dopamine levels to get to a healthy point, that's the target. But as far as the actual thing and you trying to manage it properly, no, man, that's not how our brain works. You can't just simply manage unhealthy dopamine kicks and say, I think I'll pull back and I think I won't do as much. No, man, you want more and more and more and more and more, because what happens is your brain starts to program, your brain is always wanting to go to a point of homeostasis. So it starts to use what you give it, and it starts to expand itself to make that a normal thing. So that unhealthy activity starts to become normal. And then you plateau, and then you want more and you want more and you want more and you want more, because the level of the hit has become normal, and you start to plateau. That's called the Coolidge effect. And so what happens is, once you plateau, you want to go higher, and then you plateau, and then you go higher, and then you plateau. And then it's always something more and more edgy, and more, like you're trying to get that type of hit. And that's how it works. Excuse me for nerding out psychologically, but I'm a doctor of this stuff, so I'm going to nerd out when it comes to psychology. So, all right, y'all. Jason, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I love your t-shirt, is what Jason said. I thank you so much for that. All right, y'all. We are heading over to the after party, patreon.com/pancakes and powerslams. Listen, y'all, it's less than $1 a week. Less than $1 a week, y'all. So head on over there. All right. We have a good time. It's going to be abbreviated today, man, because I got to get some rest. I haven't been feeling well for the past couple of days, but of course, I'm going to stay loyal to my PNP Nation, my fans. Y'all are awesome. I have a good time with y'all every single week. This is my favorite show to do in all of pro wrestling every single week. Although I love my other shows. I mean, I get paid very well to be a part of them, and I love them, and they treat me so well, and treat me like rock star over there, and I think it's great. And the crowds are awesome, and I think it's fantastic. But when I'm here, though, this is my baby. First of all, PNP is my baby, and it's such a vibe over at PNP, man. Like it's such a vibe over here, and I love it. I love the energy. I love the vibe that I've created over here at PNP. And then what I love about y'all as the PNP Nation is like y'all come over here and y'all just flow right with the vibe, man. And not a lot of just childish banter. You know, it's just fun. Y'all have opinions. I agree with some. I don't agree with some. It's all good. It's all fine. It's all an opinion. Like I always say, opinions are like farts. They're loud, they stink, and they go away. I mean, that's essentially what we're doing when all things pro wrestling is that, essentially. You know, some people agree, some people disagree. It's all right. But it's a whole vibe over here, man. I love it. Y'all do a great job with keeping that vibe over very, very strong over at PNP. That's why I love PNP so much, man. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for PNP, because y'all were awesome with the chat. PNP. Patreon.com/pancakes and powerslams. Yeah. Thank you so much for subbing. Thank you for the new people coming on the show. You're so cool and so awesome. Thank you for all the love. PNP, I'll see you later. I'll see you later.